Okay, so a time that we feel like roommates, or I felt like we were roommates instead of spouses, was pretty recent. We got into an intense fellowship. Literally did not talk for 3 days over some socks. Okay. We feel like roommates. So, or I feel like all right. So it was a time where I think just in these times you know that your flesh is winning. It's just a time that neither one of us wanted to deny our flesh. My feelings were hurt, her feelings was hurt, and pride kicks in. I'm not listening to you, you're not listening to me, all of those things. And typically, we're going to run to forgiveness. Typically, we're going to go through our process. This was one that we actually had to do like a what we would call like a cold blue. What color do we use?
We use blue, but it's
Okay.
also it's a tune-up.
Yeah, this was like we had to even go into a cold blue of bringing in a third party and going to do therapy, and we end up doing 4 weeks,
Three.
3 weeks of therapy in this situation. That's part of our process. That's part of the reconciliation.
Absolutely.
If we are feeling like, hey, we can't do it ourselves at the time, we gotta, So we were just walking past each other, answering questions as they came up, and you know.
I mean, if anything, I think that should speak to 17 years of marriage and they still have common issues
For sure.
that other couples have. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Because marriage is you're doing life and it goes through ebbs and flows and something that wasn't a problem may become a problem and something that was a problem may not, and it doesn't happen like once you hit 10 smooth sailing. Absolutely not. Like you're always evolving, you're always changing, and you will always need to put in the work to know one another. I'm gonna stop saying that. I'm gonna stop saying put in the work.
You put it back in. I'm gonna put it in the work. Put the work behind the vows.
Cut. We're done.
Hey, y'all. Hey, welcome, family. Welcome back to night 2 of the Work Behind the Vows. Listen, before we do anything, make sure y'all got these cameras on. Y'all in the room or not, okay? Before we do anything, I just got to take a minute because for me, this is just me personally. Y'all tell me in the chat if y'all agree, okay? This week, and we just on day 2, has been so eye-opening. So today I said to myself, it's day 2 and we're not even halfway through this thing yet. And I've already had to sit with some things, some very real and honest things that have happened in my marriage. All right. I'm going to tell you about mine, but I want you to drop something in the chat. What has already hit you this week? Okay. What's one thing from day 1 or the midday session today that you just cannot stop thinking about? Okay. You cannot stop thinking about it. Okay. I just want to tell y'all, listen, those attachment styles for me was the thing. Really learning and understanding that I figured it out, that I am the avoidant, something I would never call myself. It was so good for me to have the words, okay? So the other thing I want to say is that how good has it been to be in here together, like actually together, whether you're on Zoom or whether you're on YouTube, but we're in a space where we can laugh at things that at some point in our journey probably brought us to tears, where somebody else is going through something you've been going through and you've been too scared to say it out loud, where you can watch Words and Julanda tell their story and think, oh, wow, that was us, okay? We had a moment like that, and we almost didn't make it through either, okay? Because I know that as they share their story with us in Act 2, if you haven't seen it, definitely go watch it. I know some of y'all are thinking about some of your own crazy moments, the moments that could have separated you, the arguments that went like, you're like, how are we here? How did we get here? Or the seasons where you looked at your spouse and you were like, baby, I love you, but I sure enough don't get you right now. And so here you are in the room. We're in here on day 2. And to me, it's nothing like a good community. So I'm happy to be here with you. And I can stay here all night, but I got to introduce the speakers. Before I do anything, I do want to share my screen. Give me 1 second. with my technology. Okay, here we go. Y'all see my screen? Look at this slide. Pay attention. Screenshot it because I want to remind you. Okay, y'all saw Dr. B get her money. Okay, let me remind you what we got going on this week because tonight you get another opportunity to walk out of here with $50 cash money. Who don't want that? Okay, I want to be eligible, and y'all are, and I'm not. Okay, so every night we have the daily drawing. So you have to be on here live. You have to submit your form before the Q&A ends. No, I was on the replay. Don't send a DM. No retroactive. None of that, okay? You have to be in the room when the spin happens. You are eligible whether you are on Zoom or YouTube, but you have to be present. You have just 7 high quality seconds to say, I'm here, okay? To claim your prize, all right? And before you get your money, all you have to do is drop your takeaway on social media and tag at Words Taylor. Simple. And then don't forget you are competing for the Covenant Reset Grand Prize, which includes a dinner for two. Okay, 2-night hotel stay. That's going to reset some things. Okay, you want this. You want this. So all you have to do is do 2 engagement actions per day for 4 separate days and drop your proof in the community thread every single day. Okay, so if you haven't been dropping your proof, start tonight because tonight counts. Do me a favor and drop a fire in the chat. Okay, if you're still in the running for this covenant reset, because y'all ought to want this. Okay. So yesterday we were, like I said, we were deep in the attachment styles that Words and Julanda told us that they learned from John Gottman. And we talked about how your childhood wired you in a way that you love based on how you were raised. And you got to see what it looks like when, you get into what they call intense fellowship, right? And so I'm going to say to you, when we got off of the midday session today, Words and Julanda sent me straight to research mode after the midday session. I had to look it up because what some of the things they were sharing, it just clicked for me. So what I found in my research that was helpful for me was the anxious and avoidant comparing together is me and my husband. And I never would have put these labels on myself, but it was so good to have language for something that for years we knew it was something, but we couldn't put our finger on it. So I'm so thankful that now we are aware of it, we know what it is, and we can work from there. And really, it's just 2 people who are trying to feel safe, but the way you're doing it is in opposition to one another. So for me, the blessing has been, you can drop in the chat what your blessing is. But for me, it's having language for something that we've been doing for years, probably. And now we have a name for it and we can work for them. So this is why tonight and the fact that you're here is so important. The Taylors are talking about the behavior styles, I believe. And when you layer that on what we learned yesterday, I already know it's going to be good. So if you do not have your notebook, what you're doing, because see, I got notes, okay? I'm taking notes every day. 2 days in, and I already have more language for my marriage than I've had in a long time. So I'm excited about what the week brings, and I hope you are excited with me, okay? So this is not just about information. It's helping us to see the things that we could not name. So before we dig into the Taylors, we have what I call our special treat, because anytime Tiffany Haynes comes in the room, okay? I love this woman. I love this woman so much because she just know how to set a table like nobody else, okay? Again, if you missed it yesterday, watch the replay. She's a wife, she's a mother, she's a business owner, and she is Words and Jolanda's people, okay? She's the best introducer for them. So without further ado, Tiffany Haynes is in the building. Go ahead and show us some love in the chat, friends.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Shout out to everybody here for day 2. Okay. Staying consistent. Proud of you already. So, I am looking forward to tonight. And as I come up every night, it's just to give you a quick word. Okay. Somebody put a quick word in the chat. Just to give you a quick word before we bring in the I'm the opening act. Okay. I'm the opening act. I'm not the headliner. Okay. So I'm going to just, come leave it all on the stage, try to cut up real good and do it quickly. All right. So that they can come up and teach the main lesson. And I don't know, some of you may be meeting me for the first time. Okay. But there is a there is a signature thing that I teach called God's math. Now, I teach God's math, as you see, okay, represented here today. I teach God's math from the perspective of the power of two. And I don't typically get to teach it from the perspective of marriage this deeply. So I'm super excited to walk you through what God's math is and what it means for your marriage. And we've had words in Julanda have briefly kind of talked about some of the benefits of the power of two, but I'm gonna slow it down. It's like somebody telling you you have something, but now you're sitting down with the attorney. Okay, the attorney's about to really tell you in detail what you have. I know many of you, you're married and you're like, okay, I got favor with the Lord. You know, the husband's like, okay, you know, got favor, and then you know the wife got covering. You know, and you're thinking of these general Sunday school things that you've learned about what happens in marriage. And I'm here to just share with you, it's a little bit deeper than that. Okay. I got slides for this one. Okay. I got slides for this one. I didn't need them yesterday, but I need to cut up real good today. So I have me some slides. Okay, here we go. Here we go. All right. Can y'all see? Okay, put y'all back over here where I can see y'all real good. Y'all thumbs up me, Sarah, can you see? Okay, very good. Making sure y'all can see me. So we're gonna talk about what is God's math. So let's just talk about something that we all understand collectively, shall we? Okay, this is something we all understand collectively. Now, hopefully, you know, I'm not speaking prophetically. We're giving an illustration. Okay, Big Mama has passed. Lord Jesus. Okay, Big Mama has passed. She has went on to glory. And when Big Mama passed, you know, we're all worrying about, we're trying to figure out, okay, what are we going to do? First of all, who got the mac and cheese recipe? Okay, first of all, we need to make sure they're in good health, all right? Because that was, you know, we're worried about all the things that we loved about Big Mama. And a lot of times, especially, okay, in certain cultures, okay, they don't have anything that they can say who gets what. So we're all at Big Mama's house and you're trying to figure out, okay, who is going to get, okay, who's getting Big Mama's? Everybody loved the picture that she had on there, the aunties fighting over that. And then we got the old things that she has in the dining room and all of the things, and everybody's fighting over who's going to get what. And we really don't know what we're going to get. But there is a call you get that says, hey, I need to call all the family members to the office. You get a call from an attorney and you say, wow, an attorney. And you realize, okay, Big Mama wasn't just in there cooking. Big Mama had her affairs in order. And they say Big Mama left a trust, a living trust. And they say, Tyson, Ariel, you get this. Okay, Sarah, you and your spouse get this. Levi, you and your spouse get this. Jackie, you and your spouse get this. And then they're telling you all the things that you're going to get. Now, let's say when they tell you the things that you're going to get, somebody else in the family tries to tell you that this is not something you can have. What would you do? Just put that in the chat. What would you do? They try to tell you, even though it's in black and white, okay, legally binding, okay, what you can't know. I know you, Big Mom, her insurance, you're supposed to get the 50,000, but I feel like they feel like that's their rebuttal to your legally binding document. Okay, I gotta get where I can see the chat. Where the chat go? Hold on, so we could talk to the people. All right, put you over here. So if they're disagreeing with you, you're going to go back to the living trust and say, you argue, okay, argue with your bald-headed mama. This is what is in the trust. This is what's in the trust. And so what I want you to understand is that y'all go back and forth with the enemy. Y'all be going back and forth with him. When he tell y'all you don't have it, you be like, but what maybe I don't. What I want you to understand that there's no difference between a living trust that you understand and a natural in this right here. This is the same thing. And you keep letting him take things that are legally yours because he feel like you getting your feelings, and now you've negotiated things that are legally yours. When you stop negotiating things, I'm going to try not to get on a tangent, that is legally yours. Sickness will not be at your door. Poverty will not be at your door. Depression will not be at your door. But you keep negotiating. You keep going back and forth. You keep justifying why you should feel a certain way when it's legally binding that you shouldn't. Legally, you are a child of the God. It's in here that you shouldn't deal with certain things. Okay, so in the trust, y'all gather around. Okay, in the trust, I want y'all to gather around because I'm gonna explain to you. I'm going to explain to you some things in the trust that you may not know about, or maybe you do know about, but you haven't had it slowed down for you in great detail. Come to the attorney's office, okay? And everybody sit down. I'm going to tell you what's in here. This is something, once I tell, after today, you shouldn't negotiate with the enemy about these things. We ain't going to be no back and forth. Okay, we're going to shut the back and forth down after today. So here we go. You are a beneficiary. You're an heir. You're an heir. This is the formal estate plan. Okay. This is legally binding. Somebody put legally binding in the chat. When you in your mind respect God as the judge, and he says legally, this is what you're supposed to have, it is a different authority and posture that you should walk with. Okay. So legally binding. You say, well, Tiff, well, what did I get, girl? Okay, you didn't tee this up so good. Well, I remember last night y'all were telling me how long y'all was married. Okay, I saw 13 years, 17 years. I saw some. Okay, back when you had signed the marriage certificate, you had unlocked some things. You had unlocked some things. Take copious notes, siblings, because we're in the attorney's office. I'm gonna tell you what you have that's legally binding. You unlock some things. You said, Tiff, I know I got favor. You said, yep, I knew about that favor and stuff. I got covering. You got that. We don't got to talk about that because you already know about that. But there's some other benefits in the package that I just want to break down a little. Let's get into the granular little small details about that. Ecclesiastes 4:9, he says, two are better than one because they have a good reward for their labor. We know that we read better and we automatically think of improvement. That's the better we have learned in elementary school, that it means that it's improved upon. Okay. Now, based off of the Bible, all right, the benefit is productivity, but better means so much more than what you have learned in school. So let's break down what better means in Hebrew. So if you are reading your Bible in the Old Testament, it was originally written in Hebrew. New Testament, it was written in Greek. So what we want to do is we want to be a good steward of these words that, because this is what's, okay, let me take the pens out so they don't go flying again. This is what's legally yours. Why would you not research it? Why would you not have these scriptures memorized, look them up in Hebrew, commentary, okay, write them out? This is legally how you should be benefiting from being married. So better. Two are better than one because they have a good reward for their labor. What is that? That's going to be productivity. And when I looked up the word better in Hebrew, this is what it meant. Prosperity. Benefit. God sees it as precious. You received a favor. Wealth. These were all definitions of better the way God intended better to be when he says two are better than one because they have a good reward for their labor. So this is how you should be thinking about the benefit of your union, even if you hadn't thought about it like that for the 13 years, 11 years, 17 years you've been married. From this day forward, I'm not negotiating with you about our finances. Better is to be had by us. Okay. I'm not negotiating with you everywhere I go. When you pray for favor, when you and your spouse are going somewhere, you're praying for the favor to be released that you already have. Okay, because he's already said that that's what you're going to get. Okay, let's keep going. Benefit, support, Ecclesiastes 4:10. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he hath not another to help him up. That's support. This is the way God intended it. The way the world intended it is if you fall, you get a divorce. We would lift up, okay? I'm gonna lift up this pen and we got sign these. I'm moving on, right? But the Bible intended it where if you fall, there's one to lift up his fellow. Because when you lift up your fellow when they fall, guess what? You can rebuild something that you've never seen before. When you think about it, that's why I love how transparent that Words and Julanda have been this week, because when you hear about how they lifted up each other when they fell. Anybody saw? Okay, when you watch the documentary, how they lifted up each other when they fell, they were able to rebuild something they both had never seen before. This is one of the benefits. So even if you're dealing with a fallen soldier, okay, in the marriage, you got to go back to when you're in your prayer closet, you got to go back to Ecclesiastes 4:10, say, hey, I will do my part. I'm looking to rebuild something we've never seen before. And you can stand on these scriptures because you're standing on a legally binding document. Okay. Comfort. Come on, comfort. Ecclesiastes 4:11. Again, if two lie together, then they have heat. But how can one be warm alone? This is where he's saying just the simple pleasures of life will be enhanced by the fact you now have this union, this holy matrimony. Okay, God is saying when he said it's not good for a man to be alone, that applies to woman and man. When he says it's not good for man to be alone, and then you finally go look up what good is, because now it is good that you are together. Go find out what that means in the Hebrew. Write it out and realize that this is the benefits package of you being married to your spouse. Come on, defense. Ecclesiastes 4:12. And if one prevail against him, two shall withstand. And a 3/4 cord is not quickly broken. Run up, get done up. That's how the enemy should be. I can't even play with them. Every time I try to comfort the husband, here come the spouse. Every time I try to comfort for his girl, here he come. I'm trying to get depression in there. He done went into his prayer closet and prayed that up out of here. He done laid hands on his wife. He done, babe, we going on a solo. Let's go. We finna move around. We finna get in this word, and it couldn't even get a foothold in. Because when he tried to run up, he get done up based off of Ecclesiastes 4:12. You get to stand on this. When you go to your prayer closet for your spouse, you get to stand on this. I forbid you to touch my spouse and their mental health. I forbid you to touch my spouse and their health. If one prevails against him, two shall withstand him. Okay? So I'm just letting y'all, this is what's up in here. This is the authority you have when you cover your spouse, when you're praying for your spouse. This is the authority you have when you're moving about your relationship. Okay, let's keep going. All right, guaranteed approval. I don't care what you're praying about. If it's the will of God, you have guaranteed approval when you pray with your spouse. Any resistance you are getting from the enemy, stop praying alone. You have a built-in guaranteed approval system. Go pray with your spouse about it. And stand on the scripture when you pray. I come in Matthew 18:19, because the Bible says, he says, bring back my remembrance, my word. Okay, perfect. God, we come standing on Matthew 18:19. And again, I say unto you that if two of you shall agree on earth that's touching anything that they shall ask, it shall be done for them of my Father which is in heaven. Can I get some anythings in the chat? It's not even a negotiation. Anything. If he says healing is yours, anything. If he says wealth is yours, anything. If he says I'll look out and cover your babies, anything that you already know is up in here, you have guaranteed approval. You have guaranteed approval. He says, if two of you shall agree, you have guaranteed approval. Let's keep going. Guaranteed access. For where two or three are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. What an honor that is. There am I in the midst of them. So if you just praying with your spouse, he said, I am guaranteed to be there in your presence. I'm listening. Tell me what you need. What y'all got? What y'all got for me today? What's on the guaranteed approval list today? And there's no prayer too small. You grab hands, you cover your wife traveling, your spouse traveling, you cover their hands, you cover them while they're traveling, guaranteed approval, they coming back home. Your kids getting ready to go to college, you want to make sure they're covered, you want to make sure they still stay close to God. You say, I don't care what if they think they about to cut up, you have my permission as their parents to have a Saul to Paul transformation on the street. Don't let mine go too far. Touch hands with that spouse and get you guaranteed approval on that prayer. Why don't you go ahead and get you some guaranteed approval instead of you worrying? Because that's what y'all do. Oh Lord, he going to that school. You know, that seems so far away. Anything happens, seems like it's gonna take me a long time to get there. I don't know I wonder, but I don't even know what hospitals and stuff they got out there. It seems like a little small town. You know, sometimes that asthma get to cutting up and hope my baby gonna be okay. Why don't you link hands with your spouse and have guaranteed approval and go to sleep and stop worrying? Okay. I'm not here to fuss. Okay. So we got our guaranteed access. Okay. We got our guaranteed access. Can I give you your strategy of war? Warfare didn't came. It's then showed up on your door. Let me give you a strategy of war. He says, how should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight, except their rock has sold them and the Lord has shut them up? So when I read this, first of all, it's exciting enough just like that. Is it not? One could chase 1,000 and two could put 10,000 to flight. It's exciting enough just reading it like that. But then we dug a little deeper. We said, well, Lord, okay, what does it mean in the Hebrew to put something to flight? I didn't quite know what that mean, God. Y'all ain't had no airplanes and what that mean. And I looked in there and it says to cause to disappear. To cause to disappear. I want you just for a moment with me, just cinematically, I want you to imagine you when you have to by yourself chase something. The exhaustion in it, the cardio you're going to need. You got to be in shape. You may not even, some of y'all, I ain't even been praying like that. You might not even be fortified enough for what it's going to cost to chase. But he's saying that, well, one, you could chase. And if you chase a thing, a lot of times that thing turns around and chase you back. Seem like every time around this year, she get the feeling mighty low. Are we chasing? That's giving chase because it's coming back. But I want you to go to your built-in prayer partner and get you some guaranteed approval and put in 10,000 things have to disappear, never to be seen again. This is the power that you have. This is God's math. This is why I say 1 + 1 = 10,000. This is why I say it disrupts. It breaks the rules. It's mind-boggling. It's supernatural because he doesn't say, well, if you want healing, I'm going to need 10 people. You got to find you 3 other couples. They got to be righteous. Okay. They can't have used a bad word. He don't have all of these stipulations. He says, just add 1 more person. And 10,000 things disappear. The number one question I get asked when I teach this is, what if I don't have 1 more person? That doesn't apply to any of you. That's the number one question that I get asked. But what if I don't have the 1 more? I got some things I want to disappear. What if I don't have the 1 more person? That doesn't apply to any of you. You have a built-in system where warfare cannot even play at your doorstep. It has to go. It has to disappear. Oh my goodness. Okay, look at the time. Okay, you might say, in times when it doesn't feel like a benefit. You say, Tiff, I hear you talking, girl, but it's sometimes, okay, it's not giving benefits package. It's sometimes where it's not giving benefits package. It's giving stress, heartache, arguing. That's when you pass arguing. You arguing, okay? That's when it's doing all the things that you like, this is not what I envision it to do. So I'm going to give y'all this quick tip. If that's what you feel in those moments, I want to tell you exactly what to do and what's happening. And if you're currently in that state, I'm going to give you just a little cheat code. Okay. Can I get a little cheat code real quick? Can I briefly tell you about the law of the seed? Let me just tell you quickly about the law of the seed. I want you to know that the law of the seed is the nature of God. It's his brand. This is how he, okay, if you want to see what he does, all you have to do is follow the law of the seed. When you get this, you will solve everything. Everything. You say, Tiff, everything. Literally, everything can be solved by understanding the law of the seed. I'm going to tell you to you real quick. So here's our commandment. Genesis 1:28. Let's review together. This is also in the our living trust. And God blessed them. Somebody put bless them in the chat. Bless them. Somebody put bless them in it. This was after there was an Adam and an Eve. He says he blessed them. They didn't do nothing. They didn't pick a blade of grass. They didn't have to milk a cow. Before any work was done, before just while you were standing at the altar, just imagine God blessed you. If you, okay, at the justice of the peace where you sign a document, just imagine God blessed you. You didn't have to earn it. You didn't have to. I know everything you've done in your life, you had to earn it. I know everything you've done in your life has been transactional. I know everything you've done in your life, you had to work for it and receive something back. But just the fact you are a union under God, you're blessed. Okay, so God blessed them and he said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and every living thing that moveth upon the earth. That's Genesis 1:28. Anybody wondering what we're supposed to be doing with our husband, your husband and your wife? This is it right here. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it, have dominion. How am I gonna do that? You already blessed. He already blessed you. Stop negotiating with the enemy and you'll be able to execute a lot faster. Okay. So I was reading this. Okay. And I said, Lord, why you had called us fruit though? That's kind of weird. Why be fruitful? How are we supposed to pull that off? Why would you have us give us something to do that's associated with a food item to be fruitful? And so I said, well, let me find out what God sees fruit as. And I went to Genesis 1:11. He defines fruit there. Okay, this is already in the trust, guys. You're just meeting at the attorney's office. And God said, let the earth bring forth grass and the herb yielding seed, and write this down, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself. The fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. And the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, which means that the seed is going to multiply. I'm going to tell you the problem though. The seed is so tiny that it doesn't look like it's doing anything. It doesn't look like it's making a difference because it's so tiny in marriage. The things that break it and the things that heal it is so tiny. It's tiny decisions, tiny actions, tiny words, tiny thoughts, tiny commitments, tiny habits, tiny adjustments, tiny perspectives that change, tiny corrections, tiny investments in time, tiny choices of discipline, tiny, tiny, tiny. And it reaps a harvest. But it doesn't seem tiny. See, it doesn't seem so tiny when you tell your spouse. See, you always. I love how they talked about that today. See, you don't never. It don't seem so tiny when you're saying it. But what you're doing is in Hebrews, he says that he formed the world with his words. And then he says you're made after his own kind. If you say always and never, guess what you're doing? You're forming your own world with your words. So when they always do it and when they never do it in the future, I wish you would have something to say about it. Because you've prophetically spoke that over your spouse. Tiny things, tiny things. You hear stories all the time where couples say, every morning he would bring me my coffee in bed and I just tiny. And they felt so special. Barely got your eyes open and feel loved. Barely got your eyes open and somebody already thought about you. Barely got your eyes open and somebody went out their way to bring you something that they thought they think will bring you joy. Tiny, tiny, tiny. We don't realize how tiny these things are that reap us a harvest. Okay, let's keep going. I'm almost done, Taylor's. Okay, just give me 5 more minutes. Okay, so let's learn the formula. Anybody know Coach Rowe? Coach Rowe Shelty Parks? Anybody know my dog, Coach Rowe? Okay. Okay, so she got my baby, y'all. Okay, you might see her stories, and they said, "You see nephew? That's my firstborn." Okay, she got my firstborn over there. So you got Coach Rowe. She teaches us that when people are sick, okay, that this is what's happening. She says it's the cell theory. And she says, in your body, everybody that's looking at me is in their human body. She says, cells make up tissues. Imagine your own body. This is how your body is made. Cells make up tissues. Tissues make up organs. Organs make up organ systems. And then your organ systems make up you, the organism. So cells make up tissues. Tissues make up organs. That's your heart. That's your lungs. Okay. Your stomach. All of those are organs. Organ system is your respiratory system. Okay. Anything that is all of those things together that have to work to do something, and then all those systems together make up the organism. And when people are sick, she says, oh, okay, well, that means that the cell was sick, because sickness is where the cell is not made perfectly. So an imperfect cell is going to make imperfect tissues, imperfect organs, imperfect organ systems. Okay, I'm giving y'all a quick scientific lesson on the human body. So when people want to heal the body, they say, well, Coach Rowe, what do I got to do? She says, you got to heal the cell, because your body rebuilds cells in the billions almost every day. So if you just heal the cell, then you're going to have perfect tissues, perfect organs, perfect organ systems. And you say, well, how do I heal the cell? She says, oh, well, cells are rebuilt from what you give it. So if you give your body fruits and vegetables, if you give your body water instead of trash, instead of genetically modified foods, instead of fast food, instead of things that are processed, if you give it the things that are closest to what God has created, which is fruits and vegetables. Why? Because he made the cell. So because he made the cell and he's an efficient God, he makes all the things that go with the cell. And then we live our life putting things with the cell that don't go. And then we say, well, I don't know why I'm having hip pain, back pain, okay, skin acting up, skin diseases, and all these things. It's why. It's because he's already given you the two things that go together like a puzzle piece, and we refuse to give the cell what it recognizes, because he made the cell and he made the food. So why would you not go back to the creator that created the body and give the body what? Okay, you understand this, right? So that's how you heal the cell. But cells are so tiny that people don't make that connection. So if there's any area in your marriage that is sick, you must heal the cell. You must change the tiny, tiny, tiny. What are the tiny things that you can do to heal in that area? The tiny, tiny, tiny. Because what seeds you plant are going to multiply. At first, when I thought about seeds multiplying, this is what I thought about. This was kind of what I was like, okay, yeah, I kind of see, when he multiplies a seed, this is what it looks like. And then I realized, after having some more thinking about this thing, I said, oh no, that's actually not what happens. Because when you plant a seed, it actually transforms into something that looks completely different than the seed. It transforms when you do these things. When you fix the tiny, tiny, tiny things that you do in your marriage, it transforms the relationship. It transforms where it looks unrecognizable to where you were when you started. The bad news is, though, when you don't fix the tiny, 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 it transforms into something you didn't recognize when you married them. We naturally are going to be fruitful. We naturally are going to multiply. We naturally are going to begin to replicate the seed that was within itself, because it's going to replicate after its own kind. What is its own kind with you? How do you treat your spouse how do you treat them when you're mad? What's the tiny, tiny, tiny decisions you make when you're mad? Can you say please and thank you? Can you hold your lip and not say what you want to say? Can you fix your neck? Okay, where it's not toiling about every time you talk. Can you do the tiny, tiny, tiny? I know it don't seem like a lot, but it will transform your relationship into something that you cannot recognize. It's tiny. And if you master the tiny, the harvest will be plentiful, and the harvest will be something that you actually want to enjoy. Okay. Where are the Taylors? Can y'all come up, please? Bring the Taylors up. I hope that helped you. Okay. And the tiny, tiny, tiny. When you're serving, it's the tiny things that's going to give you the harvest. When you make their plate, okay, it's the tiny things. When you let them rest, you know they had a hard day, and while you got 1,000 things you want to ask them, and then you just let them rest, it's the tiny, tiny, tiny. When they're voicing their frustration and you don't take that as a time to, well, while we're here, let me tell you about it. And you just let them get it out. And you say, you know what, I'm going to let you just have this moment. We're going to work through how you feel, how I feel about the situation. We're not even going to address it right now. It's the tiny, tiny, tiny. Okay. I can't see my video. Are they ready? Oh, they're not. Okay. All right. Any questions? I'll take a few questions in. Okay. Come on, VIP. I don't normally get to answer questions for y'all. But I will as we wait on, okay, the main stage to come on up. To come on up. All right. All right. Come talk to me, Sarah. Can y'all spotlight my girl and her spouse there? Okay.
Hey.
Hi, honey.
So, my question is when you know you're going through warfare, right? The enemy tries to attack the family in different ways in warfare. How do you continue when you are getting opposition in different ways? Like example, say we're praying, we finally start praying together, we're doing like, the one accord thing, and the kids keep on getting up in between. And they every single time we're trying to pray, they just coming in. You're just getting those distractions.
Yep.
How do you keep up the momentum to keep like fighting and wanting to do the work? Because sometimes you you lose the energy to continue to fight.
So here's where I say, some people say, people could over spiritualize, everything. Well, that's me. Okay. I over spiritualize everything. I remember it was one, and it's my oldest daughter now. And me and my husband were going through it. Okay. And she was a baby at the time. She's 10 now. So it's like a decade ago. And we're going through it, Sarah. And when I tell you, he was gone and I'm home with myself, and and you trying to process your thoughts. I was there with my daughter, and I'm trying to get my own self together. Okay. And I was sitting there just trying to pray and just asking God to get me together. And do you know this fully potty trained little girl in panties in my living room pooped in her panties? Okay. I said, what in the world is going on? So I said, okay, I just, you jump into mom mode and you do all the things. Okay. An hour later, things she ain't never done before, pulling stuff out of the cabinets, and it straight chaos. I said, okay, this is spirit. This is opposition. This is opposition, because we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Because we are taking, sometimes it takes us a while to really process that. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of darkness, against all these things. You don't recognize that, oh, this is opposition spiritually. This is opposite. You don't recognize it. You just think the kids, what is going on? All of a sudden, anytime it's all of a sudden, baby, over spiritualize it, because there's no wasted time in prayer. I come against the spirit of chaos in my house. I come against it. I come against the spirit of chaos in my child. I come against restlessness in my child. I come against anything that you can do to label it, you come against it and rebuke it. If Jesus could rebuke the water, you can rebuke anything that is distracting you from what you need to do spiritually in your house. So I would say in that situation, because I had that thought, I said, I think this is spiritual. And I rebuked it. I said, I don't know. I rebuke chaos, confusion, all of these things that are trying, because what it's trying to do, Sarah, is compound. It's trying to compound when you already are feeling stressed. You know, that's the people that say, "Oh, if it ain't one thing, it's another." It seem like when it rains, it's all these, you know, all of these things that people say while they're putting a word curse on themselves, which just compounds the issue. What they're really articulating is what spiritually is happening. It's called, I'm going to attack on all sides. I'm not just going to attack with the thing you recognize. I'm going to attack what you reckon. I'm going to attack what you don't recognize. All of a sudden, all of a sudden, you going through something. All of a sudden, they got something happened at the bank. They done messed up your account. Didn't have nothing to do with you. You have to over spiritualize. Why? Because praying for chaos to come out of your home is never any wasted time doing that. If it happened to be a fluke, okay, baby's just had a restless night, then guess what? You praying for chaos to leave your home is not gonna, that's not gonna do anything. Over spiritualize it. And watch what I tell you. Watch, mark my words, it stops. I prayed that she was back to normal. Next day, back to normal. So we have to remember that we wrestle not against flesh and blood. When is the best time to kick somebody? When they already down. You don't think that's not his strategy? So that's what I would do in those situations. When you already are trying to focus in on what you spiritually want to pay attention to, then anything else that comes in opposition, that first of all, now you can pre-pray. You can be preventative prayers. And as we go through this, Father, I ask anything that the enemy is trying to cook up, I cancel it right now in the name of Jesus Christ. I speak peace over my house, protection over my house. Actually, I would like the kingdom of heaven to do an audit on any plans that the enemy is trying to do for my family, and I want you to cancel them, shred them with the blood of Jesus, and begin to pray preventatively if you even have these seasons. Because what you'll realize is if I pray preventatively for these things, I won't even see them. I won't even see them. Okay. So that would be my advice in those situations. Over spiritualize them. Okay. And run up, get done up. Grab hands with your built-in, that's your built-in soldier. And then you can say 10,000 things have to disappear. Okay. I think I have the tailors now. Okay. At least one of them. I at least see one of them. Come on up here.
All right, yo, can you hear me okay? Mic check, mic check. Let go. All right, shout out to Tiff, okay? All right, Tiff gonna make sure y'all get right, okay? Tiff gonna make sure y'all get right. How y'all feeling though? Y'all good? Put it in chat, let me know. Let me make sure I got my people on YouTube. Yeah, you know what I do love is that the fact that my mother has she texted me today and she was like, I really appreciate what you're doing and I'm so honored to, you know, watch this. And she's been watching everything and she says, well, how do I get in the VIP community? You know, do you got a mother special or whatever? Say you gotta pay for that. No, I'm just but it is definitely an honor to be in that position where she's able to see it and view it and not feel any way about me expressing that truth, right? And so yeah, so that's dope. Wifey is getting the kids, so you know we don't want to do the order out too much. So she's going ahead and she was like, "Hey, babe, you got tonight. I'm gonna just get the food ready and stuff for the kids, and she'll probably do a couple meals for the rest of the week." So, but I'm excited about tonight because, like I told you all before, this was one of the most transformative things in our marriage, and I get to dig into it with you all and really start to be a part of that transformation for you as well. Okay. And Levy, you already ate? You done? My man, okay. I'm just checking in on you. Make sure my man not hungry or anything. Okay. All right, Kabor, we here, bro? How many words have you said today? About 8, 9?
But
That man be counting his words. Hey, babe, you only got 4 more words from me. Okay, I used up 10 words or whatever. But shout out to you all, Tyson. Okay, all right, I ain't seen my man. All right, Ariel, I see you, Jackie, Dr. B, Russell. Okay, let's go. Okay, all right, so let's get into it. Y'all know I want to get right to the work. So what I call this is our Hebe tribe, the Hebe tribe, and it stands for hunters, explorers, builders, and experimenters. Hunters, explorers, builders, and experimenters. These are 4 different behavior types that we all experience, right? What is best to start to understand is, what is your behavior type? I'm going to go through the list and you're going to see which one resonates best with you. And then I'm going to be able to talk to you about, okay, well, what does that look like now? Okay, why is all of this stuff happening now? Okay, so let's dig into the first one is the hunter. Okay, this category determines one's tendency in solving problems and making decisions. Okay, hunters are very great at making decisions with little or no time to think about what you're doing. How do you approach problems and make decisions? This is what we're focusing on when it comes to them. Okay, so individuals who resonate with this one have a let's get it done mentality. Okay, they're like, yo, I don't care about, no, let's just get it done. I don't want to hear any excuses. I don't want to hear about these barriers. There are no barriers. Let's get it done. Okay. Hunters seek external opportunities. So they focus on big wins. Okay. They venture off into actively engage problems, challenges, and opportunities. They're very assertive. Okay. Some you all may be like, well, assertive, aggressive. All right. But they're very assertive. They're natural born leaders that seek freedom from control. A hunter's primary objective is to solve problems. They get excited when they solve problems. I'm going to show you how in your marriage, this begins to show up sometimes in a negative way, because now you start to see your spouse as a problem to solve. You don't look at you. You start looking at your spouse. Oh, I got to solve this. I can solve this problem. Okay. Hunters can appear aggressive, intimidating, or impatient. They prefer to be in control and want right now results. Hunters are always on the go. They thrive in fast-paced, disruptive, and innovative environments. They don't like small talk or distractions, and they use a lot of gestures when they're talking. They are bottom line focused in all they do and love to challenge the status quo and authority. Get to the point using facts and logic. Okay, I don't care about your feelings, all that. Let's go off the facts. Let's go off logics. They place high value on time because hunters are wired for efficiency. So let's break this down. Okay, we're going to break this down a little bit. When we look at them, their mindset is, let's get it done. They look for results. So these are very results-driven people. They're motivated by freedom. Their fear is being controlled. Don't control me. Okay, don't be telling. You're not my daddy. You're not my mama. Don't tell me what to do. Okay? Here are the characteristics. They are direct and decisive. They're risk takers. They're self-starters. They're big picture, forward-thinking visionaries. They fast-paced and quick, high ego, loves challenges. So here's the gap, though, and we're going to dig into them a little bit. Here's the gap. We look at people like, I like to use this as an example.
Allen Iverson, if you all know the basketball player, Allen Iverson. Where Allen Iverson can dominate the court. Dominate. My man could score 65, 70 points in a game, and they would still lose the game. My man did all of that. He's in the Hall of Fame, but he does not have a championship. Because the gap for the hunter is, I'm going to do it on my own. I gotta ride for me. And you start to take on all of these challenges, and you don't measure what that means because you're making fast decisions. It's not strategic. It's just go. And they win at it when they're making fast decisions and solving problems. But the gap is, right, you now get to a place of fast overwhelm. Now you overwhelmed. Now you coming off aggressive to your spouse. Now you're not listening. Now you're like, yo, no, I'll do it. And you will never win a championship. Yes, you got the 10 tasks done, but you still lost. You scored 70 points, but you still lost. You won the argument with your facts and logic, but you lost your spouse. Now, what I do love about the hunter, this is my I'm a hunter and combo with one other. But what I do love is like natural leaders do not have a problem with going ahead. Hey, I'll take charge. I'll go and I'll take the risk. These are risk takers. The hunter is willing to take the risk. They're willing to go in and be like, okay, cool, I'm good. Now, when we talk about their fear of being controlled, why is that a fear? Well, everything is about safety. We have to understand that this behavior type showed up because in your childhood, something happened where you felt you didn't have control or where somebody didn't make you feel safe. So now you created this version of yourself. This is subconsciously, you created this version of yourself that said that won't happen to me again. And now you have this very aggressive demeanor, very assertive demeanor, very, I'm not taking anything, but it's also beneficial to you because you are a self-starter. You're willing to take risks. You see the big picture. You are a visionary. But what we have to be aware of is assets and gaps. Yes, it's an asset, but it has a huge gap. You have to be able to utilize your team, and you cannot any longer see your team as inadequate. When you start looking at your team as a liability with your spouse, you start looking at your spouse as a liability. Now you've taken yourself out of the championship round. This is what happened to most hunters, high hunters, where they're like, man, I'll be so much further along if man, look, I'll be so much further along right now. Okay? I want to go to the next one, but before that, does anybody raise their hand and resonate with the hunter? My wife is also a hunter. We're both very high in that. So when you see our story, we're both very much so wanting to be in control. We both are at a point where we want to be the decision maker. She's at a point where, okay, I'm gonna get married, but don't ever say the word submission to me and all of those things, because to her, submission meant control. It meant do what I say, right? We both at a point where we can very quickly get to a point where we turn and like, nah, I'm gonna just take charge. But as a married couple with two hunters, we now understand how to navigate one another. And we told you about that yesterday. We understand that, hey, You like making decisions, and I trust your ability to make decisions. So I'm still the head of the household. This is how we're gonna run it. This is how we're gonna do it. Hey, I don't want to own this because I'm not gifted in that area. You own it. You cool with that? Yes. Okay, then you are the person that owns this part of our marriage, and this, and this, and I'll own this, and this, and this. But we will still communicate the decisions and all of that to one another. And we started to excel. Because before, we both had a misunderstanding. I'm like, yo, this woman, I remember there was one time where I'm like, you don't wear pants. Stop, like, I'm just, we got into this whole debate. But when we started to understand, when I understood, like, oh, okay, so she doesn't feel valued. Her voice is not feeling valued because she is also a decision maker and a risk taker. She also has a vision. So I'm like, when we started taking the assessment, I'm like, oh, we got to use that. Okay, hey, what vision do you have for our kids' education? Because that's your area. You're the intellect. What's your vision? Let's put it together. What vision do you have for how you want our home to be presented? Okay, get your vision. Yes. That's your vision. So now she feels heard and she has ownership over something, and we're not debating about that anymore. Y'all hear me? Okay, so I had did I have anybody that said, okay, I can see myself as a hunter? Hunters literally make up 12% of the world. Somebody said Kim said my husband is a hunter. Okay, yeah. Okay. All right. So understand this is how he's wired. This is his behavior on how he's wired. So now it's not one is better than the other or anything like that. It's just now becoming aware of, oh, okay, this is how you wire. Okay, let's go to the next one. The next one is the explorer. Okay, I'm a hunter and explorer. Y'all learn that Tiff is also a hunter. So when she get all talking about a thug and she do her little gun signal, y'all saw her. Y'all saw Tiff do her little, she be doing her little. she be like. And that girl only 5'2". She only 5'2", and be talking, the gun bigger than her. And she be talking some, Okay? That's how they're wired. Let's go to the next one, the explorer. So the explorer, this area of persons preferring or interacting with others and expressing emotions. So explorers are the people that big energy, okay? They are natural people. All right, they have a ton of energy, easily vibe with other people, can go into a group. These are the ones that you say, man, you never meet a stranger. You always bring home strays. Okay. These are the people that they call us extra. They be calling us extra. Oh, you so extra. Okay. That's what they call us. Okay. Because we got all this energy. All right. They seek external connections. Explorers prioritize establishing thriving networks. They persuade, they motivate, and influence people to take action. This is a gift. The ability for the hunters to make decisions very fast and be able to lead, that's a gift. I need you all to see these things as superpowers. So your ability to be optimistic and create, do you know optimism is not a skill that everybody has or actually uses? I thought everybody saw the glass as half full. I thought everybody, whenever I do a plan, I don't see it failing. My wife, she be like, this ain't gonna, what? She call it realism. being real. I'm like, hold on, man. Hold on. Keep your realness over there. This is going to work. All right. But this is a skill. This is a superpower. Explorers are optimists. They create inspiring, peaceful environments where people feel accepted and appreciated. You all have the gift of being able to help people feel accepted and appreciated. Your primary objective is to build relationships. This is why sometimes you just talking to people, you don't even know why you're talking to. You don't even know why you're building a relationship. You just do it because that's what's in you. You don't even know why you're talking to random people in the store, but you just do it because this is how you wired. This is how. Okay, explorers can appear, very popular. They're animated, communicate, use the facial expressions and grand gestures. They require connection to new people, new places, and things. They're usually the life of the party and the center of attention wherever they go. Incredible storytellers, emotionally connected to others. Like there's time when I remember because I help entrepreneurs build their business. That was one of my students. We had got my man out of his job. He was now at a point where he had a 6-figure business. COVID happened. I talked to him maybe like 6 or 7 months later, and he says, "Hey, coach, I had to take a job." Listen, y'all. I freaking got off the phone with him, and he did tell me like, "Well, my wife was pregnant. We needed some insurance, all that stuff." I said, "Okay, that makes sense." And I got off the phone. I go to my wife, and I am boo-hooing because I'm like, I have failed him. Like we had him out. What happened? Like, did I, take my hands off too soon? I literally, because of how I'm wired, I have a connection to people. And I literally, I have the text in my phone because I'm telling my wife I got my feelings hurt by something. And I was telling my wife, I was like, man, babe, I think sometimes my kryptonite is people. And she's like, no, it's your gift. I was like, but it don't always feel like a gift, because you do, because you're such a people person, there are opportunities for hurt to come in play. All right. So let me keep going. They are usually the life of the party, incredible storytellers, emotionally connected to others, a great sense of humor, and allergic to conflict. They don't like conflict. So their mindset is make people feel appreciated. When I was working in corporate, they literally used to, in the mornings, they was like, yo, we want somebody, we need somebody. Oh, Mr. Taylor, can you be the one that every morning we come in and you just pub us up? I'm like, I got y'all. This is what they literally have to do. And I would come in some mornings and I would create these cards and I would put it on everybody's desk and all that stuff to say, you're phenomenal. You're valued here. You're an asset and all this stuff. And pep talk, like I valued that role so much because it made me feel good to make other people feel good and value. It's an energy that I'm going to bring into the room and I'm going to take over the entire room. There's no sadness around me. I don't allow it. There's no anger around me. I don't allow it. We're going to shift this entire energy of the room. It's a gift. Okay. So they look for interaction. They're motivated by acceptance. Their fear is rejection. This is what they're protecting themselves from. Some of us develop this big energy because you felt the rejection. And now the energy, you feel like if I become the energy in the room, then I will be more accepted and I won't get rejected. So you based your value off of being needed and accepted. It's a protection mechanism. You're protecting yourself. Now, here's the other thing. Okay? Here's the other thing. Well, I don't want to say that just yet. Okay? Fast-paced, impulsive. They're fast-paced and impulsive. They're people-oriented, charming, and talkative. Okay? Them jokers could talk. You notice I said them, I ain't say me. Them jokers could talk, okay? All right. Enthusiastic, optimistic, peacemaker, star player, influential, okay? So even with Tiff and I, we're business partners, right? Anytime Tiff was like, yo, we need a person to this, I've probably already built a relationship with some people. And I'm like, I ain't know why I built the relationship, but it's here. Oh, we need this. I'm gonna hit my man over here. Because I have all of these relationships that I've been building and pouring into. Okay. Now, here's the gap. You want to know the gap of this behavior type, the explorer? Okay. Their gap is that they are freaking squirrels. Okay. They get into everything and get distracted by everything and have these grand ideas. Okay. Explorers, they gonna have an idea for you. And their idea is going to be elaborate and it's going to take over the world. There's no details to it, but it's going to be big. Okay. And they only see winning. And here's the thing, because they're such an energy person, what happens is you get excited about an idea because you connect to the result of it. You don't connect to the actual process of it. You connect to what it could be, but when you get into the process, like building a business, when you get into the process of it, that's boring. So what happens when something is boring to an explorer? They start the new thing that gets them excited again. It's like, this is, oh God, this is for the birds. Who did this? So now they're like, oh, somebody else just presented this business and they made $20,000 in one day. This is the one. This is from God. And you connect to the result of it. You don't connect to the process. You connect to the results of it. So think about how this person comes into a marriage. You now have connected to this result of, ooh, the pictures, the babies, the walks, the this and this, but you ain't connect to the process. So now you're feeling rejection when you all have a intense fellowship. Now you're ready to jump out, or your vibe has changed when you don't get to the result fast enough. When you like, yo, where my walks at? You ain't plan them. You ain't say like, hey, babe, this is what I want to do. I want to walk every day. Can we commit to that? Or if your husband's like, yo, I ain't a walker, or your spouse is like, I'm not a walker, you ain't start walking and being consistent until they decided to join you. My wife did 75 hard 3 times. She asked me to do it all the times. I ain't do it. I didn't get on board until I think 3rd time. Like, you go ahead and do it. I'm good. When she's doing keto and she wanted me to do keto with her, that's the vision in her head. She's like, yo, I want to do keto. I want you to do it with me. No, I'm good. But she did it. And I saw them sundresses start fitting a little different. And I was like, okay, let me get in this keto then. What we call it? Let's get in this keto. What is keto talking about? What this sundress talking about? First of all, let me see what this, okay? But I'm saying you can do it on your own and start the process. But and then here's another gap in that. If you have an idea and it's not immediately accepted by your spouse, you don't even support me. See, this is what I'm saying. You don't support me. That's what I'm saying. Like, oh man, if I had somebody that support me, if I had somebody that you negative, you being negative, let me tell you all something. And you all will see in the other behavior types. I realized that my wife, her natural behavior is to see gaps and flaws in plans. Y'all, that to me was not an asset. In my immature state, like, how's that an asset? She'll never see us winning. So I'm presenting all these plans and ideas, and she like, Okay, babe, do it, but all right. I don't see how that's gonna work. I'm like, and I literally had a song. I would call her in here and I would literally say, you stole my joy. You stole my joy, 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 joy down in my heart. I would walk around the house like that. I'm so serious because my feelings are hurt. I don't feel supported. I don't feel heard. I don't feel seen. I don't feel understood. And I'm just like, yo, what is the point of, come on, man, what is this? Because I fell in love and connected to the picture, the end result of, your husband, the wife gets up there and yet he did everything that he worked hard. He said he was going to do it. He believed in himself. This is my husband. I'm so proud. I fell in love with that picture. It's like, why ain't got that? And there was a point where there was a guy, I was in a network marketing business. Okay, so I've done, as an entrepreneur, I've done okay. There's a gateway. You've done one of the 4 gateways. Okay. You've done one of the 4 gateways. Let me see. I promise you on here, if you are an entrepreneur or you're an aspiring entrepreneur, you've done one of these 4. Okay. You've done either a network marketing business. Okay. You've done Cutco or you've done Cutco. Come on now. Come on now. Or you sold some vacuum cleaners. Okay. Come on now. Come on now. Or hold on. Or you worked in a call center. Type which one. If you are an entrepreneur, you've done one of these. I've done all 4. I mean, I've done 3 out of the 4. Okay. So type in the comments. I want to know where my entrepreneur people at. Where they at? Okay. Cutco. See, I told you. Cutco. Right. You had a penny to cut through the scissors to cut through the penny. Come on now. Shoot. So there was a guy in the network marketing business and he gets up there. He's getting a new rank. And then his wife introduces him. And she spoke so highly of him. And I was like, dang. And my guy was like, dang, how do we get that? And I said, it's the work. We got to put in some work and build some equity to get that. He had been married, I think, like 26 years at the time. This is about 10 years ago. And I said, we got to put in some equity. And so when we look at it, I said, I am going to begin to pour into my wife. And I am going to get to a point where whatever I say I'm going to do, whatever the next business I start, I'm just going to follow that one all the way through. I'm not going to entertain. And this is going to be the hardest thing for you to do, is to say no to opportunities, because you think everything is an opportunity. But what you don't realize is that based off of your gift, all of them can win. You just got to stay with one. You got to pick one and just do that one all the way through. And then if you see that it's not giving the fruit that it was supposed to give, and you get through the process fully in the spirit of excellence, then go ahead, put that thing down. She started trusting my decisions in business when she started seeing, oh, you going to walk this thing all the way through. You're going to walk this thing all the way through. So every business since 2018, any business that I've been part of, I've walked it all the way through. And she's seen me like, no, I'm good. I'm in the midst of doing so. Ooh, people like, man, I just made $10,000 on this. No, I'm good. I'm locking right here. And I don't feel like I missed anything. I don't feel like that. Because I don't speak in hopes and wishes. I speak in commands. So I know that I have dominion. So whatever is supposed to happen for me, I can say to these mountains, move, and they will do it. I can call on things that be not as though they were. That's what you have to understand. And so my 40th birthday party, my wife, surprise, takes the mic. She has the long speech about me and then sings Superman by Monica in front of everybody. And my guy who's there, he says, bro, your wife just did that. I said, yeah. Now, I wanted the moment, but I had to also fall in love and connect my emotions to the process. This is the gap of the explorer. This is why your spouse get irritated with you sometimes, because you got all this big energy, you don't have no follow through. You got all these ideas. They got to listen to all these ideas every single time, and they got to give you energy back. And they got to, ooh, I can see that. That's going to happen. And then you done with it in 3 weeks. And then they got to do the whole thing again. It's like, come on, man, you got to stick with something, man. What we doing? I need you to stick with something now. And here's the thing. I don't even care if you fail at it. Just stick with it. You don't even stick with it to get to the failure. Let me go on to the next one. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna go on to the next one. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm so sorry. Okay. So the next one is the builder. The builder is considered to be the stabilizer. Okay. This is the one who they prefer peace and workflow in the workflow in their environment. They want peace. They are natural supporters within a team. Oh, I forgot to ask, do we have any explorers? Anybody that resonate with the explorers? Let me see. I said stumbling on my toes. Anybody that recognize with the explorers? Just put an E in the comment. Big energy people, of course. Yeah, Sarah. Okay, cool. Anybody else? Big idea. Okay. Jackie said my husband. Okay. Shout out to the explorer. Let go. Tyson. Okay, Tyson, salute. Man, there we go. I knew I had my people in here. I knew I got my people in here. Okay. Cool. All right, so let's go to the next one. Next one is the builder, right? So these are the people that want peace. They're natural supporters within a team dynamic. They prefer slow pace and require additional time to adapt to change. Let me just stop right there and say, if your spouse is this, then your frustration comes from they are wired to process. They are wired to move at a slower pace because they're going to move with structure and consistency. And you're going to want them to speed up their thinking and speed up their movement, and you're going to pull them out of the spirit of excellence. This is how they're wired. Okay, let me keep going. Okay, all right. All right. They seek internal stability, sustainability, internal sustainability. Okay. The builder operates as the glue of the environment. Builders are patient, logical, dependable team players that are great seeking tasks, at seeing tasks through to completion and creating change gradually over time. A builder's primary objective is to create a stable environment. Is why I like builders. Builders help our business be able to sustain levels when we get to new levels. Because this is where SOPs come in place. Because a builder is going to operate based off of the SOP. It's like, okay, this is the SOP. Cool. Wow, I'm here. My grandmother lives with us. She does the same thing every single day. I know this. When my grandmother was driving, I started off driving her and all those things, but then I said, okay, Ma, I need you to take over this and you got to start driving. Okay. So she's not like the hunter. The hunter will get in the car and start driving and figure it out how to get there and use GPS and all that stuff. That's not her. She's not going to solve the problem in that way. But me knowing that she's a builder, I know that I can implant that into her. And guess what? She's now, so this is what we used to do. I used to say, okay, to your hairdresser, it's 5 turns. So we're going to go out here. And I would literally get in the car with her and I'm driving. And I say, here's turn number 1. It's on this street. Now we're going to go down to the 3 blocks. And here's turn number 2. It's on this street. Here's turn number 3, 4, 5, and we would do that. And then I would be in the car with her, and then I would have her drive. Once she did it on her own without me saying anything in the car, boom, she now will keep that same pace up. When she first moved with us, she didn't have a savings. I said, hey, this is how we do the money. This is how we do it. And this is where you're going to send it every single day. That's 10 years later. Now her savings is she has a savings, is flourishing, all of that, thriving, all of that, because she does the same cadence. It's based off the programming. So when you want a builder to go to new levels, then that's when they go into the process of increasing themselves. We just teach. So like there's people on the team, it's like, oh, okay, here, let's add this to your skill set. So I'll purchase a course, I'll purchase a one-on-one, whatever they need. When the young lady that does my copy for me, the writing the emails and texts and all of that stuff, when I first brought her on, she's a high builder. So I first brought her on, I paid for another copywriter. All right, paid $5,000 for another copywriter to teach her. Set. And now, boom, she can keep that cadence. She can keep the cadence. Stabilizer. Right? This is, you want the stabilizer. And you're gonna say, but just, you can't create your own. And they're gonna be like, no, I'm gonna support you. Tell me what you need to support you. And the crazy thing is, this irritates you all sometimes. Because you be like, what? I want you to come up with some stuff. I'm going to support you. What are you trying to do? And I'm going to make sure we're successful at it. And I'm going to make sure you are able to stabilize the level so we don't move, so we don't lose it. That's what they want to do. All right. Builders can appear reserved. They require time to warm up and trust others. All right. These are the type of people that love longevity. They look to develop long-standing relationships. They prefer steady and an easy pace. Keep things cool, keep things calm, collected in social settings. They're both friendly and non-confrontational. All right. When communicating with others, give them assurance and time to respond. Their mindset is make people feel supported. My best friend, Rashard, is a high builder. I text my man while my wife and I are in the hospital, and I said, bruh, we have to do an emergency C-section. 10 minutes later, he texts me a picture and says, I'm outside of the door. They won't let me in. I'm not going anywhere until you tell me that we're good to go. I said, my man. We couldn't see each other, do the dap up or anything. 90 minutes later, after everything's good, hey, baby boy is here. Bet I'm going to the crib. And I appreciated the support. That's what he rose to the occasion for this moment. Like, yo, my dog needs me. Even if I can't do the shake up, I'm here just in case. Right? So they make people feel supported. They look for stability. They're motivated by supporting others. Their fear is loss of security. So you start taking too many risks with them, and then now you wonder, like, why you ain't supporting me? Why you ain't on board? Because their fear is a loss of security. It's like, hold on, this don't feel secure. You got all these ideas. I don't feel secure in this. Emotionally, you married to this builder is married to a high explorer with all this energy, and you got emotions up and down every single day. It's like, dang, where is the stability at? They don't feel, it's hard to connect to that when you constantly, you up and down, and they want to be here. You're like, oh my God. They want security, emotional security, physical security, financial security. This is what they thrive off of. I want to feel safe. And that may have came from a childhood where they didn't. Where they didn't feel like it was stable. Or they didn't, they're in their childhood, they didn't have money. You ain't know when your next meal was coming. All of these things. So now they are in this protective state. This is how they're wired. So they slow-paced and consistent, reliable, dependable, all right, predictable, patient and empathetic, loyal, understanding, good listener. Okay? Now, here's the gap. The gap is they'll stay at the job for 40 years. Because it's stable. They won't take risk. Not gonna take the risk. Like, no, I got my pension, I got my this, I got my this, I can't, No, we ain't doing that. That's okay. This is where they are as a builder. They're like, I had to my pastor, he was talking to me one time, and he was like, he's like, man, I got these two people. We're trying to make decisions, and these two people are always the ones holding us up. And I said, yo, what type of decision are you trying to make? He's like, well, we got to fire some people and all that. And I said, I said, look, this is what I want you to do. Next time you have to make any decision and you need for everybody to answer, all right, inside of the meeting, those two people, I want you to tell them 2 to 3 days ahead of time. And he's like, what? I tell them 2 to 3 days ahead of time, they're going to have an answer for you. And sure enough, they did. And I was able to explain to him what happens is you're talking about firing somebody. You're going to make decisions because he's a high hunter. You're going to make decisions based off of logic and data. They're not making decisions based off of that. They're going to say, hey, I know Russell. Russell, he been here 10 years. I have coffee with Russell every single day. I can't get rid of Russell. And then Tyson and Ariel, they just had a baby. I can't get. Now Russell is the one that's not performing well. Everybody voted Russell off, but it's like, but Russell, his mom got cancer and stuff. Like, I can't. You're thinking they're gonna make decisions based off of logic, and that's not how they make decisions. They make decisions based off of people. So this is now the difference in when you all are clashing, you all are making decisions differently. Mine is based off of the people or the emotion or the feeling. Yours is based off of logic and data. Yes, we're clashing. We're talking about two different things, and you don't recognize that. And you look at the other person like, how can you be so insensitive? And you're looking at them like, how can you be so ignorant? Right? Now you're looking at your spouse like, this person is, how I get this dummy? I gotta common, and then you say stuff like common sense is not common around this house. This is not common. Where do they buy the common sense at? And then they're like, empathy is not. Where they buy empathy at? Where they, you see what I'm saying? Do y'all see how we clash at that? Here's the biggest thing that the high builders have to be aware of is saying no. Because these are the ones, they will say yes, knowing they don't have the capacity, but then they will go into a point where they hurt in silence. They ain't gonna tell you, they hurting, you don't even know they hurt. It's very passive. And I'm not saying passive in the negative way, but I'm saying passive as in you don't even realize it. And if you don't pick up on it, it'll be little comments, little hesitations that they do, or they offer little suggestions. You're like, yeah, let's get steak. Yeah, we could do that. Or burgers. But steak is fine. They passively interject their request because they're trying to avoid the conflict of it and the back and forth of it. Y'all hear me? Who are my builders? Who are my builders? I know Kabor's one. I already knew that. I already knew. The way he was stone cold me. And that's the thing. It just takes builders time to get acquainted with people. It takes them. But here's the thing. With a builder, you break their trust and it's like, no. Okay. Who else? Do I have any other builders? I feel like Levy may be like a combo between the explorer and the hunter. Okay. Right here. You a builder? Levy, you okay. Okay, I see it. Ariel, okay, I see it. Okay, so we got So
I mean, as of right now, I'm all three.
Okay, I can see that. But I mean, one will take you'll see the two will start to take precedence over the other when you take the assessment and all that.
It's the different traits. It's like some things you say about, a hunter or a builder or explorer. Some of the traits on all three I'm not. But a lot of all three I am.
Okay, got you. Okay, got you. So Tyson is the explorer. Ariel is the builder. Okay, a little dynamic right there. All right, let me go to the last one. Now the last one is my wife's second highest one. Okay, and this is the experimenter. Okay, let me tell you this. The experimenters, okay, they used to be a pain in my and here's the reason why. Okay, the experimenters are great. I have to. Me and Tiff, we have to have experimenters around us. It is a must. We cannot function without the experimenters. I'll tell you this. I got off of my call yesterday, and sure enough, Tati, our operations, she's a high experimenter, and she's like, "Word, can you make sure we see your slides for tomorrow? Because there are so many grammaticals in those slides." Yeah, okay, I got you. That's our experimenters are the ones that those details that you're missing matters. Okay, so let me break down. All right, the experimenter measures one's tendency for dealing with rules, protocols, standards, and procedures. Okay, that's the type of language they like. Okay, that's why some of y'all got excited when I was talking about standard operating procedures. Y'all like, okay, I like that. Okay, he's speaking my language. Okay, they're systematic in their approach. They're very detailed oriented and prefer to complete tasks correctly the first time. Us high explorers, high hunters, hey, this what we're gonna do. We're gonna cut it and we're gonna be like, okay, let me see. Okay, let me cut a little more. Okay, we cut a little more. The experimenter is going to measure, 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 and then they're gonna cut. Because they want to be right the first time. They want to be correct. Okay? They want to follow the rule and protocol and system of it. Okay? Very systematic. There was a point where my wife, she had the grill out on our balcony when we were staying in our apartment. She had the grill out on the balcony. And the landlord was like, hey, you can't have that grill on the balcony. Is that in the lease? He said, yes, it is. Do you know? Okay, this 22-page lease, or how many pages it is? It feel like 22 to me. This girl went and read the entire lease and said, okay, I read your lease. I didn't see anything where it says, so, I thought it was in there. Okay, I'll take it down, but it doesn't say it in there. Okay, just so you know. They are going to come with facts. This is why when you get into intense fellowship with them, they always feel like they got to pull out their receipts. No, because on January 3rd, you did the same thing. You did the same thing on January 3rd. I remember because we were going to, remember you had on the black tie. You had on the shirt with the, because it had a little stain on it. They got, come on, it's crazy. Okay. This is your experimenters. All right. So they seek internal opportunities. The experimenter explores ways to improve existing resources. They look to validate over time what's possible. Experimenters gather, they criticize, they test information in an even-tempered manner. Okay, their objective is to verify facts. They can appear guarded at times. Okay, all right. They're focused on. As they view their notes, they're going to be some note takers. They're focused. Okay, these are the people. Listen, experimenters are the ones that they take notes and actually go back to refer to them. I take notes fronting like I'm an experimenter. I ain't. It's like, oh, okay, that was good. Okay, I do better listening. They're actually taking notes. And they're gonna go back and review. This is them. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm gonna take notes. I'm not gonna look at it again. Okay. These are your experiments. Experimenters also, they look for facts. They're motivated by perfection. Their fears are mistakes. Okay. The characteristics: factual, logic, and precise, accurate and analytical, high standards, thorough, slow-paced, reserved, task-oriented, critical nature. Okay? Their goal is they want perfection. That's what they're chasing. This is also their gap. Their gap is they will analyze and then they will analyze what they analyze. And they will get stuck in analysis paralysis and won't move. They will measure the risk and see that they can take the risk, but then will measure the risk that they can take. It's like, hold on, I want to make sure that came out right. It's because the fear is they don't want to be wrong. So when you're getting into an intense fellowship with them, it's very hard for you to come with an emotional appeal because they're based off of the factual data appeal. And they believe theirs to be the best form of right or wrong. Not only that, but when you give a plan, they are wired to identify the gaps. They're wired to criticize the thing. And it's not necessarily to tear it down, but to make it better. This is why we bumped heads and I'm like, yo, you don't even support me for real. Like, what are we talking about? Now, listen, I will be like, okay, this is what I'm thinking. Hey, babe, this is what I'm thinking. And this and this and this. Hey, can you look at this? And I'm like, and I would say, tell me why this can't go wrong. In my maturity, I'm asking for it. Why? Because I understand my behavior type is an executor. If you're going to find the gaps, I'm going to cure them. And we built a business that now supports our entire family. Find the gaps. Find them. In our podcast that we do, I had the vision for the podcast and how we wanted to do it and when we wanted to go out and how to launch the podcast and all of that. She's the one that researches the episodes. That's the details of it. Because if it's up to me, we're going to get on there and we're going to talk. I bet. So what are we talking about today while the camera's on? What are we doing? Because I know I can carry the conversation. Now we have to discuss, what does it mean to be married to this person? Now that we're aware of the behaviors, we get to navigate them in a different way. That's the key thing. actually taking the assessment and learning, oh, now, okay, you're a hunter. And I promise you, most of y'all are probably going to be the opposite, but you're a hunter and I'm a experimenter. We're on completely opposite sides. Okay, I want to take risks. I want to keep checking over and over and over and over again. It's like, okay, well, here's the vision. Here's the plan. You check it thoroughly. And then you have to give them, I will give you 30 days to check it. And then after that, we're gone. That's how that connection and that communication has to work. One of my experimenters, when I'm like, because they'll do stuff like, I say, okay, you got 30 days. Well, technically, it's only been 29 days and 4 hours. So it's like, okay, this what we doing? This what we doing? Okay. Who are our experimenters? Bessie. Okay, Bessie. Okay, who else? Jackie. Oh, okay, Jackie. And you said your husband is a builder? He's a builder? My God, today. All right. Okay, this is some good stuff right here. Kabor, yeah, for sure. I can definitely see that. Okay. Kabor probably do push-ups every morning, don't he? Every morning he wake up. He do something. He do some push-ups or some squats or something. There's something that he does every single morning. This routine. Listen, this is what I've learned. And once you start understanding these behavior types, you will start to understand how to use them to your advantage. Not use them as to take advantage of them, but use them as a way to help you increase. So when I hire coaches, I hire high experimenters because they're going to irritate me. They're going to agitate me. So when I hire a coach that's going to work on a workout coach, right? A trainer, a personal trainer, he's a high experimenter. He's going to work out the details. I don't need anybody else because I'm gonna bench press. I'm gonna do squats. I'm gonna do curls. I'm gonna do back. But he's gonna do hips. He's gonna work out the I don't even know what some of the stuff he calls it. I heard in places I didn't even know was a part of that. But he's looking at, here are the muscles that you use when you're doing this. Here's from sitting, and here's the muscles that we now have to retrain, and here's the mobility that we have to do, and all of these things. He's so detail oriented. So when you start seeing and being aware of your spouse's superpower, you start to learn that, oh, the area where I fall short, you got it. You got it. Now you start to see them as an asset. Now you understand what Tiff was saying when she's like, look, you can activate a whole marriage benefits package. There's a marriage benefits package that you can now activate because you now understand exactly who we're talking to. Y'all hear me? Okay, so I gotta I want to challenge you all now. Okay. I had a question. I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Was that good, y'all? Was that good? Y'all like that? Is that good? Let me see. And I will give you an opportunity. Okay. Okay. Oh, good. Okay. So look, let me ask you this. Imagine 3 months from today. I want y'all to think about this. Imagine 3 months from today, and you don't avoid conversations anymore. You don't feel like roommates. I want y'all to actually think about this. You don't feel like roommates anymore if somebody's in there, that stage. You feel like partners again. Like my wife that's my dog right there. That's my partner. Okay, you feel like best friends again. And not in a cliche type of way, but a real, like, this is like, I'm waiting for Friday to get here. I be like, man, I got to share my wife with these kids. Okay, I love them kids, but I'm come on, let's get Friday here. I'm ready to kick it with my girl. Okay, lover, you feel like lovers again, and intimacy is high. And when I say intimacy, I'm not just talking about sexually. I'm talking about conversation. I'm talking about you all being in tune with one another's feelings. You know the extra support that your spouse needs. You know when they need it, and you are just well in tune to what's going on. You're learning them again. Imagine this. Imagine you feel seen, you feel heard, and you feel understood. Imagine that's the environment that you all start to be able to create. This is 3 months from now, and what that looked like. And most importantly, you feel proud of your marriage. I'm able to be on here to talk about my marriage because I feel proud of it. I'm able to still be vulnerable and transparent about literally January. We were just doing, and it's part of our SOP, but we were just doing marriage counseling. We had to get 3 weeks in. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud to say that we use the things that we teach people. Fully able to access all the marriage benefits package. Imagine being able to do that. Let me remind y'all, I'm talking about fully able. Partnership, okay? Like I said, we've been able to build a 7-figure business together. All right. It was 6 figures with our wifey, but when she got on board there, okay, we took a climb. Protection. You're able to activate protection spiritually, physically, mentally, financially. You're able to activate these things. You get the acceleration in life because 2 are greater than 1. You actually get to excel, and now that you understand each other's behavior types, you get to say, okay, you take on that, I'm gonna take on that, and then we're gonna be great. You get to build legacy together, whether that's with kids or whether you all, in that name that you now share, you put that name on something and you begin to build something great. Y'all are on our YouTube page right now. Healing is a lifestyle. This is not just about me and wifey. This is about building a legacy. This is something that my kids, our kids will be able to still post on this same page later on when we're going and still be able to benefit from it. The benefits package of intimacy. Now you directly get to be intimate with a person and hug a person and have conversations and have this deep connection. Next, the deepened joy, and finally, growth. You able to experience exponential growth. I guarantee all of you all can think of a single friend right now that you're like, yo, you still do that? My God. And it's because they don't have a person that is challenging behaviors. They're challenging them to move forward. All right. Let me ask you, are those things worth fighting for? I actually want to hear from y'all. Are those things worth fighting for to actually activate that benefits package? Is that something when you all look at that and you read that, is that something worth fighting for? Okay. I see a couple yes. I see maybe 2 yes. Wasn't a lot of yeses that came in there, huh, Tiff? Okay. They like, I don't believe. Oh, okay. I ain't know. I didn't know. Okay. If you said yes, then take a look at this. I want y'all to see this. I want to invite you all to thrive and prosper. Okay. This is our community. Okay. Where we've been able to partner with a few people to create this beautiful community. I'll tell you about it in a second, but inside of it, you're going to get access to the marriage workroom. So listen, I want you all to hear this. Nobody taught you how to be married. Nobody gave you systems. Nobody gave you the roadmap. Nobody gave you SOPs. You were expected to figure out covenant without instructions until now. And that's the thing that we had to learn. And that's the thing that we developed. Because we were like, yo, how do we do this? I've never seen a successful marriage, and now we just supposed to do it. So inside of Thrive and Prosper, you'll get full access to what we like to call the marriage workroom. Okay? So can I tell y'all what's in there? Well, first of all, and I'm glad we get to do this because these are some sexy pictures of me and wifey. Okay, I'm glad we get to do this. Okay, first of all, we have prepared trainings just for you. Training number 1 is Understanding Us, the Marriage Style Series, where literally the training I just did, we go in deeper and I actually get you to take the assessment. You all will take the assessment and you're going to be there together. And we're going to now teach you how to be married, knowing your behavior styles. Okay. So you're going to understand the language. You're going to understand the triggers, the blind spots, and all of those things. And now we have a system for how we do it. You all will love the fact that everything we do in marriage, it is about having a system. Okay. That's a $997 value for the first training. The second training that you're going to get access to is Breaking the War Cycle. So the goal is about speaking to be heard, listen to understand. So in here, we give you tools about conversation rules, safe word strategy, and emotional tone check. Okay. This is a strategy that we use. Somebody type strategy. Okay. Somebody type strategy. Jackie type strategy. Russell, Dr. B type strategy. Okay. We use safe words. We use word strategy and emotional tone support. It's important, right? That's training number 2, $997 value. Training number 3, triggers, trauma, and the path we brought in. My God, today. So how unhealed past fuel present conflict. So what we're going to do is we got to take you back to address some of the trauma and these triggers that you have in order to now be able to navigate each other together. We're going to break this thing down for you. Okay. So you understand, like, oh, this is what's happening with my spouse. And this is why they're feeling this way. Okay. Training number 4. Okay. From awkward to aligned. Physical intimacy after emotional distance. So this one is important because it's always about, okay, when we have this intense fellowship, how do we get back connected? How do we get back to that intimacy stage? Or you all may be in a stage now where you're not giving each other compliments. You're not doing the date nights. You're not necessarily validating one another, or you don't feel connected in that way. This is all about how do we connect you all, even though there's emotional distance right now. Okay. So in here, we talk about building safety, restoring desire, and healing past rejection. Okay. $997 value for that training. Training number 5 is the marriage operating system. Okay. Now in here, y'all know, remember we told y'all you need SOPs for everything. Well, we're actually telling you all the SOPs that you need, and we give you the formulas on how to create them. So you're not like, okay, what should we do? Or we give you the formula of exactly how we came up with the SOP, exactly where it came from, and now you just have to plug and play into the formula. Okay, so this is the exact framework for how your marriage functions, heals, and thrives using our SOP system. So we're gonna dig into all the SOPs that are necessary in our marriage and how we do it. $997 value. Training number 6. Shout out to the babies. Okay. The marriage framework that lasts long after this program. So now this focus on rhythms that sustain shared rule of life. All right. That commitment to grow. This is all about how do we stay connected? How do we stay in this intimate stage? Not just for this week, not just for the 12 weeks or the year of the program, but how do we make this a habit? Okay. How do we get to a point where every time I see you, I want to jump your bones? How do we get there? Okay. Some of y'all like, okay, let's talk about that. All right. So let's take a look at what you're getting so far. We have the Understanding Us, which is all about the behavior assessment, the marriage styles is $997 value. We have the Breaking the War Cycle, okay? To speak to be heard, listen to understand, $997 value. We have the triggers, trauma, and the past we brought in. That's a whole training, the $997 value. From the awkward to align, this is the physical intimacy after emotional distance, which is a $997 value. And the marriage operating system, which we teach you all about our SOPs. That's the $997 value. And then finally, the marriage framework that lasts long after this program. The total value of that is $5,982. Now, let me ask you, What else would you need with this? Okay. What about community? You need community. So with this, you're also going to be a part of a community of people that are building the same type of marriage, a marriage that feels safe, where people feel heard, and you all start progressing. And some of the people that you're going to be in this community with, this is going to start being your people. These are going to be your people. I didn't realize that when I joined a community 7 or 8 years ago that was just kicking off, that Tiffany Haynes will become my people. I literally talk to Tiffany every single day. All right. I didn't know she was going to be my people. But when I joined this community and I saw that we were on one accord, that we both love God, we both love our spouses, we both love building businesses, I said, this is my person, my God. And we built, and now our kids share space together. When we go out of town, we stay in Airbnbs together. We plan trips together. We spend Christmases together because this is my people. You're going to meet some of your people in this community. $497 value. And you get weekly calls with us, me and wifey. That's priceless. I didn't see any smiles or anything happen from that. Okay. Thank you, Russell. My God. All right. Y'all get to be on with us weekly. All right. That is absolutely priceless. So let's take a look. So we're talking about, you're getting the Understanding Us, the Marriage Style series, $997 value. You're getting the Break in the War Cycle, Speak to Be Heard, and Listen to Understand. That's the $997 value. You get the Triggers, Trauma, and the Past We Brought In, $997 value. From Awkward to Align, the Physical Intimacy After Emotional Distance, $997 value. The Marriage Operating System, where we talk about the SOPs, $997 value. The Marriage Framework that lasts long after this program, $997 value. And then we just added the private community for $497 value, and then the weekly calls, which is priceless, which is a total value of $6,479. Now, let me ask you something. I want to ask you all something. If all this did was to actually help, if you all joining our community and you got access to the marriage workroom, and all it did was help you and your spouse go from feeling like roommates back to feeling like partners, back to feeling like best friends, back to feeling like you actually enjoy being married, would it be worth it? Would it be worth it? If all this did was help you protect the covenant you prayed for, restore the intimacy you thought was gone, and give the tools to build a marriage that your children will one day model their lives after, would it be worth it? Would this be worth it? If all this did was help you and your spouse finally experience the marriage benefits package, partnership, protection, intimacy, acceleration, and the favor that comes when two people are fully aligned, would it be worth it? Of course it is. This will be your greatest asset outside of God. Your marriage will be your greatest asset outside of God. Let me tell you right now, the average cost of divorce, and I wanted to do a screenshot, so y'all know I just came up with this. The average cost of divorce with children in the U.S. is higher than the national average, approximately $19,000, often reaching $26,000 per couple, due to increased legal fees, child custody disputes, and support negotiations, all of these things. Okay, how much did most couples invest into strengthening the marriage before it gets here? How much you think most couples invested in strengthening marriage? Listen, I want y'all to see, while basic divorce can cost much less, contested divorces involving children, significant assets, or high conflict frequently exceed $30,000. It exceeds it. But that's not the only thing. What happens to the kids in divorce? We talk about confusion, sadness, anxiety, fear of abandonment, anger, guilt. They're asking, did I cause this? All right. Grades begin to drop. Right? Values begin to change in the kids because of divorce. It's like, do the things that you were teaching them no longer apply? what else happens to the kids? Their secure attachment is gone. Now you force them to have the anxious attachment or fear for attachment or avoiding attachment. That positive and stable view of themselves, that's interrupted. That positive and stable view of others, that's been interrupted. Them being comfortable with intimacy, that's now being interrupted. Open and trusting, see self as an equal partner, all of those things, these things now get interrupted. I refuse. They're seeking connection, providing space, welcome diverse perspectives, all of that now gets interrupted. So that this won't happen, let me remove all barriers, okay? I'm going to remove all barriers. You won't pay $6,479 to get into the marriage workroom, okay? It's not what you're going to pay. All right, somebody say, whew. Now, my team came with the conclusion that we should do $2,997. I'm like, that's actually fair, okay? You're going to spend some time with your boy. You're going to spend some time with us. I said, that's fair. But we're not going to do that either. Y'all hear me? Somebody said, okay. Somebody put WWD. Okay, well, what we doing? Somebody put WWD. What we doing then? Okay, what we doing? What we talking about? We have 3 options for you. Okay, we have 3 options for you. The first is called our silver full access for 1 year. 1 year. What we've done is we've broken the marriage workroom. We've broken our whole system down into 3 different levels. Okay. So the first level is the marriage workroom where we're going to do some work. That's about 12 weeks. Okay. The next level is our covenant alignment. All right. Lab. This is where we actually show you what me and wifey do every single year. We actually go on what we call a covenant alignment retreat. And we plan out our entire year. We plan out our business, our trips, our savings, our investments, every single thing. But we got to get you first through the first level of now doing the work and getting you all connected to start activating those benefits package. Then you go to the covenant alignment lab. And from there, you will then, the third level is our covenant circle. So you get access for the full entire year for $997 for everything, or 2 payments of $550. Okay. Now, our second option is the gold. You get full access for 1 year and access to our in-person event. Okay. The Thrive and Prosper Accelerator. Now, listen, this is where I get to put hands on you. I get to touch you, see you, all of those things. And we do workshops and we do connections and we do role plays and we teach. And then Tiff is there and our entire team. This is our 3rd year. I think this is our 3rd year doing it. And it absolutely, the acceleration that happens with our people once they come out of the accelerator is nuts. We're talking about businesses. We're talking about kids. We're talking about marriage. We're talking about personal development. We're talking about your relationship with God. All are going to excel. So if you do this package, the total is $1,997 or 2 payments of $1,050. Okay. Now the platinum is lifetime access. Okay. Lifetime access. And you get to the live event this year. The investment for that is $3,497 or 2 payments of $1,748.50. This means you're paying this one time and you're going to be with us for as long as your heart's desire. You're going to be our people. Okay. Now, isn't it interesting that we will hesitate to invest $997 a year to fortify something, but we won't hesitate to spend $30,000 trying to untangle it? Isn't that interesting? We think we would prefer to spend the $30K than $1,000. Let's talk about some bonuses. Check this out. Listen, y'all get the whole squad. If you join Thrive and Prosper, here's the thing that you also get. You're getting spiritual development. You will have access to spiritual development with Tiffany Haynes, who y'all saw got on the call prior to. So after the first 12 weeks, you get to decide, hey, I want to do Tiffany's program for 12 weeks. And you sure can. Not only that, but I've partnered with my guy, Ramaya, who's doing the business development. And literally my entire system on how I build a business, you're going to get access to him. And he's the coach leading that. What I mean by that, the same system I use with people like Eric Thomas, right? Rochelle T. Parks, David Shands, Tiffany Haynes, all right? All of these people, Him 500, all of these people that you're seeing, the same system I use to build their business to 7 figures, guess what? You're going to have access to it too. So not only will we talk about your marriage, but you're going to do the marriage workroom first, okay? Because we gotta fortify some things. And then if you say, hey, now I want to go build this business, okay, cool, go do that. You are more than welcome to go do that. And then we have Coach Tuka, who you all been seeing all week. Coach Tuka is all about personal development. You're going to get access to her as well. Okay? And then we got Coach Diana, who's also in spiritual development with Tiff Haynes. Okay? So you're going to get access to our entire Thrive and Prosper community where we talk about personal development, spiritual development, marriage and family development, and business development. We're teaching people how to thrive and prosper. So literally for $1,000, you're going to get access to the entire community. You rocking with it. For $3,400, you get access to the whole thing for life. Okay? Today is the day. Y'all see wifey? Hold on now. No. Today is the day, okay? All right. So the marriage style series, all right. We're going to get access to the marriage style series, the breaking the war cycle, speak to be heard, listen to understand, triggers, traumas, and the past we brought in from awkward to aligned physical intimacy after emotional distance, all right. The marriage operating system, you get access to the marriage framework that lasts. You get access to the after this program, long after this program, you get access to the private community, the weekly calls, and you get access to our entire community that consists of 3 other coaches you will have access to. Now, let me give you all one more perk so you can make your decision today. Today only. Today, and hear me when I say this. I am a man of my word. Today only. If you purchase at any level, you will get a one-on-one with me and wifey. We choose a date. Me and wife is just us and you all. If you purchase on any level, the silver, the gold, the platinum, you get a one-on-one with me and wifey. We'll set that up after this week though, okay? Because, we already locked in. We still have a few more days with y'all. One-on-one with me and wife. Anybody that purchases today, on any level. You can't find where I've done a one-on-one. Even in business, people are like, I'll do a one-on-one with you. I'll give you 10 grand right now. I'm good. Because that 10 is not even what I want. Okay. I don't do the one-on-ones. But like Tiff even told you, I have a heart for marriage. This right here brings me absolute joy. I would spend the rest of the night with you all if I could, if I didn't think you would get fatigued, because I'm not, right? So tonight only. I will not offer this any other night, I promise you. And for anybody that buys the platinum, which is the lifetime, not only will you get the one-on-one, but you will get an emergency call to use every quarter. What I mean by that is in any quarter, if you like, yo, I'm out, you know how when you all start doing it and you start creating your SOP, you'll see inside Thrive and Prosper, inside the marriage workroom, we tell you to set up who's going to be your third party if these things are broken. You got to have your third party, okay? If you wanted to in that quarter, if it's in that quarter, you're like, hey, well, we got to get on with Words of Julanda. You are more than welcome. We will give you an actual word to use with us that you can drop in the group. And we know, like, oh, it's like a bat signal. And then we will come running. We will make it a priority to get on a call with you that day. Okay? That's how important our SOP is. That's how important we treat, when we set a system in place. And for the platinum people, husbands will be invited to our annual men's trip. I have not opened this up this is our 5th year doing it. And it's literally with me and my guys. These are my guys that I actually hang out with. All married men that's been married 12, 15 years, plus the men that I allow to pour into me and we pour into each other. We go on a trip every single year. We cook breakfast for each other. We do 4-wheeler ride. We worship. We pray, all the things. And we leave there feeling different and accomplished. We set goals, all of those things. This is the first time I've ever said I will open it up to a public. I will not even mention this after today. Okay, y'all hear me? I won't mention this again after today. Okay, neither one. These are very personal things because these are things that I'm giving up my time and I'm giving up space. I'm making space. If you look at all 3 of these things, this is giving up time and space. So I have to be very cognizant with wifey's time and my time as well. So this is why I'm only doing it one day. Okay. So we're going to drop that link. I'm going to take questions, but we're going to drop the link now. You pick which one you're doing. All right. And I want to see you in the community. I want to see you in person. Or I want to see your husband on the men's trip. And I'm telling you, he's going to come back much different. Okay. Not because we're trying to change him or the goal to change him, but literally because we get to a point where we're focused on increasing ourselves. And in that, there's such a transformation. There's such a transformation that we have with one another that is absolutely unmatched. I would love to be able to steward you all in your marriage. I would love to be able to continue to pour into you long after we're done with this 5 days. Okay. All right. So let's lock in right now. Tell me when you're locked in. I want to know who's the first to lock in and who's the first that's going to be a lifetime member. Okay. Those are okay. Lifetime. You are people now. You are our people. All right. And I want to take some questions as well. Hit me with some questions.
Bryce, before you get your questions in, can they drop the link so that we can do our $50 drawing?
Well, just hold off on that, right?
Okay, hold off. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Oh, Dr. B, what you doing out here? You want to be my people? You want to be my people, huh? Come on, mute real quick, Dr. B. Can Dr. B come out mute real quick?
Hey. What's
going on? Okay, so you and Russell, y'all want to be our people, huh? What made you say I want to lock in?
It's amazing.
Amen.
It's amazing.
Amen.
It's amazing.
Okay.
You can't our story.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good.
And
hubby
didn't have any. That God said that we were going to invest. That is the exact amount.
Wait. Say that again.
That is the exact amount. $3,500 is the exact amount that we decided a week or 2 ago.
Get out of here.
Saturday.
Get out of here. Praise God.
That instead of going to divorce, we were going to seek.
Y'all better shut up. Okay. Because you all were at that place where you were considering going the other way?
Yeah. We are physically living apart.
Okay. I got you. Okay. Well, we're gonna get this one-on-one going then. That's what we're gonna do. Okay. All right.
Woo!
You know what?
Praise
I'll
the
ask those
Lord.
questions on. I'll ask those questions on the thing. But listen, this is beyond an honor. Hey Russell, Dr. B, I appreciate you all so much to be able to that you all would trust us to pour into your marriage. Like, man, I do not take this lightly. All right, and I would definitely be my wife and I would definitely be great stewards. We will be great stewards over your marriage.
Thank you.
Okay, man, I'm literally all right. We gotta move on before I get too.
Yeah. So
All
drop
right.
the link, and we are ready.
Okay, the link is in there. Let's do
All
it.
right, let's do it.
Do y'all see the link? Let me know if you see it or not.
And we are ready. We'll still be back every day, but
Oh, for sure. We still have way more work to do.
this is God ordained.
Yeah, for
God
sure.
ordained. So keep doing it. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Did y'all see the link in the chat?
Let's see here.
They're talking about me in our group chat. They're talking about the gangster about to cry. I'm like, this that means a lot.
Listen, when you hear it, it's God ordained.
Okay.
You wouldn't even believe how you all came up.
Okay. I want to hear the whole story. Okay.
It's God ordained. It was meant to be.
That's good. That's good.
All right.
Okay. All right. Other questions or who else is joining us in the community? Anybody else? And I'm also open to ask your questions and things like that, answer your questions and things like that as well. And if you all, I don't see questions coming up. So if you all see some, then, and if you all would feel more comfortable if we stop streaming and then dug into the questions, then I'm cool with that as well. Yeah. All right. Okay. Sarah said stop. We can stop the stream. So all right. Appreciate you all. I hope that you all for those that are on YouTube right now, I would love to see you all in the Thrive and Prosper community and love to be able to pour into your marriage and all of those things. So we'll see you tomorrow. Remember, at 11 a.m. Central Time, we'll be playing episode number 3. Okay. And then right after that, me and wifey will have our midday session, and then we'll have our evening session at 6 p.m. So salute to you all. Appreciate you all. Love you all so much. All right. So we can stop the stream and get busy.